I'm Richard Clarke. I record these talks every day as a way to deepen my inquiry. Listen each day and deepen your own practice. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting on the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is talk 589, part 3. Maharshi, Chit-ether, Chit-ether, is pure knowledge only. It is the source of mind. Just at the moment of rising up, the mind is only light. Only afterwards, the thought, I am this, rises up. This I thought forms the jiva and the world. The first light is the pure mind, the mind ether, or isvara. Its modes manifest as objects. Because it contains all these objects within itself, it is called mind ether. Why ether? Like ether containing objects, it contains the thoughts. Therefore, it is the mind ether. Again, just as the physical ether, though accommodating all the gross objects, the whole universe is itself the content of the mind ether. So also the latter is itself the content of Chit ether. The last one is Chit itself. There are no things contained in it. It remains as pure knowledge only. In this talk, Sri Ramana Maharshi explains the nature of the mind, the concept of the I thought, and the relationship between the mind and pure knowledge, or Chit. These teachings emphasize the progression from the pure state of awareness to the creation of the ego and the experience of the world. Ramana begins by describing Chitakasha, translated as Chit-ether, as pure knowledge. It is the fundamental awareness that exists prior to any mental activity. He explains that the mind originates from this pure knowledge. At the moment the mind arises, as some people experience upon awakening from sleep, the mind is initially just light, unconditioned awareness, or pure mind. However, this purity does not last long. Almost immediately, the thought, I am this, arises, giving rise to the sense of individuality or ego. This thought forms the jiva, the individual self, and creates the perception of a separate world. The I thought is central to the Maharshi's teachings as it represents the root of duality. It is the first indication, the point at which the mind begins to separate itself from its source and perceive itself as an individual being, distinct from and separate from the world. This thought sets in motion the process by which objects and experiences appear as external and separate from the self. Ramana uses the term mind ether to describe the mind in its role as the container of all thoughts and perceptions. Just as physical space holds physical objects, the mind ether holds all mental activity. This analogy helps convey the expansive and encompassing nature of the mind, while emphasizing that it is still dependent on something more fundamental. Ramana goes on to clarify that even the mind ether, with all its modes and manifestations, is itself contained within pure knowledge. This highlights the hierarchical relationships. Objects are contained within the mind, and the mind is ultimately contained within pure knowledge. Chitakasha, or Chit, is the ultimate reality, undivided and self-sufficient. Unlike the mind, which holds objects, Chit has no content. It simply is, existing as unchanging, absolute awareness. The essence of Ramana Maharshi's teachings here is that while the mind gives rise to individuality and the experience of the world, its true source is pure knowledge. By turning inward through self-inquiry and focusing on the I thought, you can trace the mind back to its source and realize the self, which is eternal, unconditioned, and free from all limitations. So know yourself and be always free and at peace. In 40 verses on reality, Ramana Maharshi explains the nature of the self, the ultimate reality, and self-inquiry. My new book, with my comments and inquiry questions, opens these teachings up and brings them into your practice and experience. Available now from Amazon. Link in the video description. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.